Enzo Maresca to Chelsea is a completed deal on a new 5-year long-term contract. I want to get your instant views, reactions to this breaking news now confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. Enzo Maresca, the new Chelsea head coach. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Done Deal Show. It has now been confirmed, it is now official that the former Leicester City manager and Manchester City assistant coach will take over the reins and be the new head coach at Chelsea Football Club on a 5-year deal. Chelsea fans, I want to understand what you're thinking, what you're feeling in relation to this. A few days ago, it looked like it was going to be De Zerbi. It looked like it could have been Kieran McKenna at one point. But after all the interviews, after all of the conversations took place, it ends up being Enzo Maresca, who just got Leicester City promoted to the Premier League, who will take the reins at Stamford Bridge next season. Another Pep disciple, but an inexperienced manager. A very interesting, flamboyant, and attacking style of play as well, but of course, untested at the highest level of the game. I think there are many pros to bringing him in. You've got the style of play. The attacking football looks absolutely brilliant. I think that he is a great coach. I think he's a great coach. There's a difference though between being a great coach in terms of the style of football you can get a team to play versus how you perform at the highest level when the pressure is on. There is intangibles in that, how he handles the media attention. He will have experienced nothing like the pressure that comes with being a Premier League manager, working in the Championship, the eyes on you, the stories, the attention. And of course, the expectations from the fan bases are going to be very, very different indeed. So I think what I've read about him, he's a great coach in terms of technically teaching people how to play football, how to improve players, his understanding of tactics and systems. That's very different from managing a team, as in the first team, because that is what he's going to do, rotating the squad and getting things right at the highest level of the game. There is a question mark over that, absolutely no doubt. You can't deny there's a question mark over it. But Chelsea Football Club, as they've already briefed the media, they've watched what the likes of Arteta have done, and they believe this is their opportunity to go down a similar path. But Chelsea fans, I want to know what you think and feel. Listening to Chelsea fans online, there are some that seem very excited about this deal. There are others who appear to be frustrated, maybe a little bit annoyed that the club have gone down this route. I want to know what you're thinking, and I want to know what you're feeling. This here actually comment says, don't even know what or how to react. Don't care anymore. It's just pain me to watch the Blues. And then you get D that says Chelsea are winning the league. Two completely opposing thoughts and feelings and comments is coming here. Josh here says RIP Chelsea. I want to say this now though. I don't necessarily think this is the end of Chelsea. Seeing a lot of people say this is a bad appointment. It could end up being a bad appointment. I'm not convinced it is right now though. I'm not convinced right now this is as devastating for Chelsea as some people are making out. I'm just not. I'm just not. And I almost can't articulate exactly why I think it. I think it's very easy to just say, stupid move. I think it's very simple and easy to just say, this is a mistake. But I've just got this little feeling in the pit of my stomach. And I like to listen to my stomach. He's going to work. Now, it's just a little feeling right down deep that says, I think this might be a good appointment for Chelsea. So I almost can't sit there and dismiss it just because that's the popular thing to do. We are done is what Marcus, who's a Chelsea fan, has got to say. Terry, please don't hype it. It's not about hyping it. It's about being honest. My issue, I've said this about Chelsea for 3 or 4 weeks now, is not the manager they're looking at. I said it about Kieran McKenna. I'm being very consistent. My issue is the changing of direction the board appear to be making. Experienced manager, short-term inexperience with Potter, short-term experience with Poch, now an inexperienced manager with a longer-term contract. It's the chopping and changing at board level that would concern me more than the individual manager coming in if I was a Chelsea fan. I'm just being honest with you. In terms of Enzo and his quality as a coach, what I've read about him is very good. He's been tipped to go to the top. There's a lot of excitement about him. But of course, I've already stated it. There's the intangibles. There's things we don't know yet. We don't know how he's going to cope in the Prem. We don't know how he's going to cope with the pressure of being a top 6 coach. We don't know how he's going to handle the standards that come from Chelsea fans. We don't know. So I think he's a very good coach, and I'm talking technically as a coach. How well he's going to do in terms of managing this Chelsea team, I don't. I have a little gut feeling he could do a good job. But what I also have at the same time is, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I don't trust the ownership or board. There's been too many inconsistencies and too many mistakes from them in these last 2 years to have complete and utter faith in the decisions of which they make. Lampard got more support for finishing 6th with Derby. Why can't we give him a chance? I think you can. I mean, you've got no choice but to give him a chance, in my very humble opinion. So I think, yeah, I mean, you should give him a chance. You absolutely fundamentally should be giving him a chance. Otherwise, I mean, what is the alternative to not giving him a chance? Kicking off straight away? Being angry straight away? I don't know. I mean, what do you do if you're not giving him a chance? Genuine question. What do you do? So I think Chelsea fans are left with almost no choice but to give him an opportunity. H here says 5 years. Terry, don't you think we are making the same mistakes we did when hiring Potter? So Potter was a long-term contract. Sorry, my mistake. For an unproven entity, these clowns never learn. But you're not making a mistake if you stick on a particular path. Financially, you might be making a mistake. But I keep saying this. Football clubs need to have an identity. Football clubs need to have an approach, a process, a standard, a culture, a structure, a plan. I don't really care what word we use. It all amounts to the same thing about how they want to play football, the profile of manager and the profile of players needed to bring that to life. Now, if you do that consistently and you spend the money Chelsea spend and you have good football decision makers at your club, you will invariably yield positive results, invariably. But Chelsea haven't done that as of yet. If you look at the players they signed at the first time round versus the second time round, if you look at the differences in managers, it's very choppy and changey. And the reason that I talk about that is I've seen this at Man United. There has been no set plan that we stick to for a prolonged period of time to build an ethos, to build an understanding. And what you end up with is like a Frankenstein squad. You end up with a situation where players are being coached and taught to fight in multiple different ways over a short period of time. None of this yields to a conducive environment to create the chemistry and the relationships needed to win the trophies that we're all vying for. That's more of a concern if I'm a Chelsea fan than the actual appointment of the manager. Time of yes men. Well, look, I'll say this about yes men. People go on about this a lot. The irony, I see a lot of YouTubers say, I don't want a yes man. I don't want a yes man at my club. But you're a yes man. You're a yes man because you comply with all of YouTube's terms and conditions to make your content. You're a yes man. You could label anybody as a yes man to some degree because we all have to apply to certain policies and rules in jobs or platforms that we work on. We all have a boss or someone we're accountable to at some stage, or the vast majority of us do. I don't think this is about having a yes man. We don't turn around and tell the bosses of Ajax, the bosses of Barca, the bosses of Bayern. We don't call Pep a yes man, and they follow a very similar model to what Chelsea is trying to create. I think the yes man approach is a fairly weak argument, in my opinion. It's conclusive, Terry. You need to tell me what you think is conclusive. I don't know what you're referring to. ZJ here says this is a big gamble, Terry. If it fails, the sporting directors need to go, especially after the owners wanted Roberto. Well, this is true. If they do fail again, and it's 2, 3, 4 appointments that have failed, if they can, this again, I go back to my examples with Man United. We hired Moyes, and then we hired LVG, and then Jose, but we continue to keep Woodward at the club. We continue to let him pick the managers. Then it becomes an ownership issue. So if your owners have employed Winstanley and Lawrence, I think that's their names, or Stewart, I think one might be Lawrence Stewart, is that his name? If they employ them and they keep getting it wrong, but then Clear Lake keep them in power, it's on Clear Lake. That's the way the world works. Terry is correct. As a club, we have been mercenary for 2 decades. Now comes a transition. Trust the process. Cole Palmer is a result of that process thus far. Look, it's trusting the process. Again, it's become a very polarizing topic. I think you can put trust in what you're doing, but still challenge things. You don't have to have blind faith at every single turn. You can give an opinion that you may change later on down the line, but you have to be asking for your club to continue in the same direction, have some consistency. If there's no consistency at board level, no consistency at decision-making level, there'll be no consistency on the pitch. What happens on the pitch is a manifestation of what happens behind the scenes at every level of the club, from organization to consistency to high standards. And I mean this, if the training ground is messy, if the board don't care, if there's always a continual changing of direction in terms of how you want to play football and the types of managers you have and the profiles of player that you have at your club, if all of these things are inconsistent at your football club, you won't yield good results on the pitch. How do I know this? Because the same works for every single business, sports team, family, school, university, church, whatever it may be in the world. The ones that are run well with a consistency yield the best results. Simple as that. In my personal opinion, it is undebatable, undeniable that what I'm saying is true. Not because I'm a genius. I'm not a genius. I don't think I am. I think what I'm speaking about is fairly basic. It just strikes me as strange that people want to denounce it. If this is all confirmed, he has to stay for at least 3 years. I mean, it's all confirmed, 110%. He has a 5-year deal. It will be announced formally by Chelsea soon. He will be 110%. He will be the new Chelsea manager. This is a cast iron fact. It is going to happen. It's a simple, and it's just straightforward as that. As far as I'm aware, I can't see how it changes. It seems it's what's happening. He's going to be the Chelsea manager. Terry, what would be a good season for you with Enzo? A Conference League win, deep cup runs, top 6 finish. Look, Chelsea are 2 years into their rebuild, and we've got to keep this a buck. We've got to keep this honest. They are not at the beginning of a rebuild. They're going for this manager. If you read the media briefings, Enzo has sold them a plan. He has sold them an idea of how he can get the best out of his namesake, Enzo Fernandez, how he can develop these young players. Enzo has said, I agree with your model. I believe in your model. I like the players you're buying. I'm the man to take you to the next level. If that's true, then although they may be going for a very different type of manager again, which is a red flag, doesn't mean baby gets thrown out with the bathwater. So it's a red flag and you note it and you keep an eye on it. Then it isn't a complete start again. It isn't a complete rebuild again. This is someone saying, no, we'll continue going in that direction, but you just need a manager like me. So if we're to believe all of the briefings, this isn't the start of a new rebuild. It's a continuation of the same plan around this young squad that he's got to develop. So I'm looking at this year 3 into the project, as it were. Chelsea fans have got to expect at least Europa League football. Success is winning a trophy. Fundamentally, winning a trophy, qualifying for Europe, and being a stronger, a more potent team than they were last year. I think year 1, that would be a fair expectation. So to win a trophy, to qualify for at least the Europa League, and to be a much better football team, a much more consistent football team, conceding less and scoring more over the course of the next campaign. Year 1 under this manager, year 3 of the project, that for me, I think is a fair expectation for Chelsea Football Club. This year from for the LFC says, well, I don't have much to say. I'd like to watch and see what happens. We'll be doing the same with Slot. Yeah, look, I think that's what's interesting is there's going to be multiple, at least three. Yeah, the three of the top six will all have new managers at the start of next season. Most people believe. We're still waiting to see what happens with Ten Hag. And that's also why I'm not going in crazy, because Man United look like, again, just because Enzo isn't a well-known manager doesn't mean he isn't going to be a success. We've seen Poch come in, who was experienced, that lots of people raved about, not be a success. So I don't think it's as simple as 1 + 1 equals 2 in this circumstance. But yeah, I'm a bit like you. A nice shirt, thank you very much. I appreciate the compliments. Isn't that all PR stunts? Club, everyone's doing it nowadays. I don't know what you mean by PR stunt. You mean as in a club project, a club way of playing football? It's not PR at all. I mean, the way clubs talk is very corporate and it's very well put together, but it's what the club are trying to create. It's what most clubs have always used. The age of a manager that runs your football club are over, and they've been over for a long time. Young managers coming through are not even taught to do that. In some respects, your sporting director is every bit as important as your first team coach. We just still as English football fans have this mentality from 10, 20 plus years ago where your manager runs a football club. It doesn't exist on the continent by and large. And the clubs are run by their presidents, and then they have a head coach that coaches the team. I think it's the way. And again, if it just, my sort of view is very much that you have to evolve with football, and I think this is part of the evolution. However, you've got to get your strategy right. Just having a club ethos doesn't mean you'll succeed. You've got to get your strategy within it right. Chelsea have hit the reset button. Everyone else in the top four have stuck with their manager. You could definitely look at it that way. Unproven, fouled at Parma, and Leicester City squad is stacked for the championship. I think what Hazard said here is a fair challenge. I do think what you're saying here holds water. They definitely had a very Premier League heavy squad in the championship. He isn't proven in the Premier League. Didn't do too great at Parma. There are definitely question marks over him. So although I'm sitting here and saying I'm not going to condemn this move, although I've got a gut feeling this could be a really good move for Chelsea, I'm not oblivious to the fact that there are definitely some major question marks over him. Terry Fab tweeted. Let me have a look. What did he tweet? You say things like Fab tweeted and you don't tell me about what? About, yeah, no, he's confirmed the deal. Here we go. That's all done. It's all dusted. It's over the line as far as we're aware. I want to see the plans for Old Trafford and Carrington, players in and out, then the manager issue for me. Yeah, that's all going on at the same time. I'm intrigued to see what that looks like. Terry, will this work short term? You need to define what you mean by work, because what I think working is and what you think working is different. So to answer your question, I must have an understanding of what you believe it looks like, because it's your question as opposed to my opinion. So I want to give an opinion on your standard, but you need to tell me what your standard is. So Twisted Bubba, tell me what working short term looks like for you, and I'll give you a straight answer. Chelsea versus Slovenia Rangers in Lithuania. We will be there. We will. The thing is, everyone laughs at it, and I get the banter, but we all will be there, won't we? Watching. We'll all be there watching. Chelsea got a very good set of players. Lavia and Kunku, Caicedo. I think I will. You think he will do well with a decent team? Poch started it to gel it. I think Enzo will continue to improve it. And again, Ray, from a Man United fan, there's definitely the chance this works. This idea that it is going to foul 110%, I don't think can be clarified as of yet. But people are entitled to their opinions, and I respect that. People are entitled to their opinions. I respect that, because I don't think this is. I think you have to be very objective with this appointment. Saying 100% is going to foul is a guess. Saying 100% is going to work is a guess. And it's based on very little knowledge. It's people throwing mud and hoping it sticks. There's a good chance it succeeds. There are definitely some pitfalls and reasons why it might fail. And I think the conversations have to be balanced regarding this situation, personally. Terry, 4 bald-headed managers versus Arteta. That's funny. I think we will do like Arsenal. If you look at Arsenal's project, I doubt they will sack him unless it goes very bad. Yeah, listen, I mean, yeah, you got how bad is bad. You've got to define that, but they're talking like they're going to stick with him. They're talking like this is going to be a long-term option. So let's wait and see what Chelsea do. But look, we're going to be back with you at around 3:30, so in a couple of hours' time for Straight Facts, where we'll be talking more about this with the panel and other stories going on at the minute. So hit the like button on this show, and we'll see you all again at 3:30. Take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace.